my pleasure today to introduce Jueanne Meyers, who's the director of Rising Star Productions, which is ending its season this year with Camelot, which opens Friday night at Three Rivers Mall. She has been directing Rising Star Productions for more than 10 years, 9th year. She's been an actress since she was 5. Singer, director, she does it all. And it truly is amazing to me to have the craft and the patience and what it takes to work with a whole bunch of kids who just are exploding all the time. So anyway, Camelot has incredible moments. There have been times in the last couple of weeks when everybody in the cast is sort of going, wow. So I hope you'll come share some of those moments with us. And here to tell us more is Jueanne Meyers.
Thank you. I'm neither a saint nor a martyr, I'm just a mom. I have 6 kids of my own, and the oldest one had oppositional defiant disorder, so I can handle anybody. I am the director of Rising Star Productions. We are a nonprofit community theater group. We're based here in the Longview area. We have been performing, while we started out, our first show was in the National Guard Armory, then we moved to Kessler Elementary School, then we moved to Kelso High School, and now we have a little space at the Three Rivers Mall, as long as nobody else comes and rents it out from under us. She said we could be there until they get a retail store in there. Anyway, we've been performing since 2004 was our first show. We've done shows like Madame La Mancha, The King and I, Cinderella, Martyrs Crossing. Done a number of dramas and a lot of musicals. Seussical the musical was a big one a few years ago, and right now we're doing Camelot. The mission of Rising Star Productions is to provide wholesome, uplifting entertainment while allowing members of the community to discover and develop their talents. And I strive really, really hard to keep us true to that mission statement. We are not a children's theater per se, but I almost always have children involved. I've had kids as young as 8 running the light board. Usually my stage crew is children. I try really hard to get adults to come and audition, but men are hard to find. So we usually end up with a predominantly teenage cast just because I have to cast according to the ages that I have. But if any of you are actors, I would really like to see you. We chose, what? Walt. Who's Walt?
In the blue shirt.
You know, I have a show on my list of shows that I want to do called Tender Lies, and I need someone your age. It's a beautiful show. I'll give you the script to read if you'd like.
Sing for it. Come on, Walt, sing for it.
And this is a non-musical even, Tender Lies is, so you wouldn't have to sing unless you really felt like it.
I can only sing it.
In that case, we're doing 2 musicals next year. Camelot opens on Friday. I chose to do Camelot for a couple of reasons. First of all, because I'm a diehard Julie Andrews fan. And I grew up listening to Camelot and mutilating Camelot songs until I learned how to manage pitches for a very long time. I love the story of Camelot, not because you're all familiar with the Camelot legends, right? Yeah, okay. Everybody thinks of Guinevere and Lancelot and the whole love triangle thing. But I love Camelot because it is primarily Arthur's story. And Arthur is a man of such complete integrity. Arthur is a man of compassion, a man with an incredible ability to forgive and to love past perceived hurts, and to do what he believes is right, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's difficult. And I love that message that is there in Camelot. that might isn't right, that compassion isn't weakness, and that we can be strong doing the things that are right. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm glad. Coming up next year, we have a children's show in the fall. We're doing a double header. We're doing Pinkalicious and How I Became a Pirate. If any of you have little girls at home, you may have read Pinkalicious about 1,000,000 times. If you don't have little girls at home, congratulations, you haven't had to read that book. Pinkalicious is a story of a little girl who loves pink so much. She wears pink, she eats nothing that isn't pink, and one day she eats so many pink frosted cupcakes that she turns pink. And they have to take her to the doctor because she's got this dreaded pinkalicious disease that turned her pink. And the antidote, of course, is to eat things that are green. And so she finds out that green things are actually good, even broccoli. And there's a song about it, or two. But I figured the boys who are children would not particularly want to be in Pinkalicious. So we're also doing How I Became a Pirate so that we can have something for the boys as well. At Christmas time, we're going to do a musical based on Robert Oldham's essays called Uh-Oh, Here Comes Christmas. And then in April of 2014, we'll be doing a non-musical called Enchanted April, which is a story about some women in post-World War II England who are sort of dissatisfied with their lives. And they go on a holiday to Italy and discover there what really is important. And I'm not going to tell you any more than that because I don't want to ruin the story for you. I'm not very good at asking for help or selling myself for my theater company or anything, but I want to tell you some things that set us apart maybe from some other companies in the area. First of all, you should know that we are nonprofit. We do involve people of all ages and all socioeconomic spheres. The thing I love about theater is that we can all, I get so many disparate people in the theater company, people who would never speak to each other if they met on the streets, people who sometimes come from very fractured homes or have different difficulties and areas of weaknesses and strengths. But they come together in theater and they become friends, and they realize that perhaps things that they might have thought aren't correct. Prejudices are dismissed and friendships are forged, and people learn compassion, and they learn how to get along with other people, and they learn how to put themselves in someone else's shoes. That's why I love doing theater. I love watching people grow that way. I work very hard to keep Rising Star a safe place where people feel like they can come and do something maybe that's a little scary and feel comfortable doing it. We're very fortunate that we have an environment there where people don't make fun of each other. People, in general, there's not infighting or a lot of the backstage drama that you sometimes find. We have a very, very supportive group of people who are all there learning together. We have people who've never done this before, people who have been doing this for as long as they've been alive, and they all work together really well. You can come into our theater company and you will never, ever, ever hear a swear word, which is something that I appreciate a lot. I particularly appreciate it because my children have been coming and doing this with me since they were very little, and since I've got them on the headsets running backstage stuff, I don't really want people swearing at them, and nobody does. They're very respectful of that. The shows that we choose to do are not always shows that would be interesting to children, but I can guarantee you that they will always be safe for children. I make sure that the costumes are nice, I make sure that the language is clean, and that the shows that we choose to do are, they'll leave the theater feeling better than you did when you came. That's my goal. Theaters in general only earn about 40% of the cost of keeping a theater going through ticket sales. We have been existing pretty much only on ticket sales for our entire existence. That happens mostly because I do all of the work myself. I sew the costumes, I make the props. But we're getting to a point where things are getting more expensive, and I hate to raise ticket prices because there are so many people who can't afford to pay more than they're paying. So we're starting to just kind of ask if you own a business or you have an employer or someone who would like to advertise in our programs or sponsor a show, Phil passed around a paper with next year's seasons, and there's contact information for my board member who's in charge of advertising and sponsorship. We would love to hear from you. Personal donations are always welcome. You should also know that we are an all-volunteer theater. Nobody in our theater company gets paid. I don't get paid, my vocal director doesn't get paid, our choreographer doesn't. We all do this because it's something that we love to do. And because we want to be an influence for good in our community. We want to make a difference. And so we are all volunteers, so donations that do come in, advertising revenue, whatever, it all goes directly into supporting the cost of running the theater program. Are there any questions, anything that I can answer for you?
Where can you buy tickets?
You can buy tickets online at www.risingstarproductions.org, or you can buy them at the door, assuming we haven't sold out. We're at the Three Rivers Mall right now. We're across from Big Five down by Macy's. They leave the food court doors open, so you can come in through the food court and come on down our direction. There's a big Rising Star Productions sign. Yes, sir.
What is the capacity of the
We can seat about 103. If we get a really big crowd, we'll add a row in the front, and that puts us up to about 120. Yes.
So I was going to the mall,
Uh-huh.
you guys were practicing hand lunch. Is it okay to stand there and watch that?
Oh yeah, we love it.
Okay.
When we were doing White Christmas, people would stand outside the grate and they would sing with us.
Okay.
We'll be hanging curtains on the scaffolding pretty soon, so you won't be able to see very much longer. But yeah, we leave it open on purpose so that people can get interested in what we're doing.
Sure.
Anything else? Oh, yes, ma'am.
How do you solicit for your people involved? Do you just advertise, or is it?
There's usually in the spotlight section of the newspaper, there's a little thing that tells when we have auditions coming up. I keep our website up to date, and there's an auditions page on the website that will give you information. And you can send me an email, and I'll put you on our actors' email list. And then I send out emails to the actors. Yeah, I know about spare time. I have dress rehearsal tonight, and I have 3 costumes that aren't done yet. Anything else that I can answer for you?
Cheers. What's for sewing?
Yeah, if any of you have a sewing machine and want to help out.
wall?
Yeah.
That'll bring him in.
Yeah. Hey.
All right, thank you very much. Today, if you have to find your lines, I'd like to give you this hug. For those few times you get to sit back and relax.